You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
Hello.
What's going on? Am I here? Is this real?
You know, I'm so glad you are because I bits the intro every time, but you've got it so perfectly. And I'm so
You have no idea how hard he tried to be you.
Dude, I did. I took
super
notes,
hard.
and I'm like, I'm the not B.O.B.
I've been gone for 2 weeks, and damn, it feels good to be back. This is episode 265 of the one and only IT in the D Show. Packed house this week. Guests include Mike and Dan from DynaTrace. They're going to be talking about the DevOne conference, developers conference at Ford Field. Should be a great conversation. Jason Brown's in the house. You might recognize him from the Security Jabber podcast, but he's one of those hacker guys. And
Is he the notorious hacker named as 4chan?
yes, maybe. No,
He's that guy.
no.
He's the one.
No. Actually, we'll be talking about what it's like to hack in the pizza business. And last but not least, we've got Heather Hermiz in the house from One in Black. She's built online businesses, like 5 or 6 of them. You're kind of like a rock star online. We want to learn from you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, before we dive in, the show is brought to you by eBay. Ever wish you didn't have to buy batteries, coils, a tank, and a bottle just to get started vaping? eBay, the new vape system from the creators of Zamplebox, changes all of that. eBay's hardware blends simplicity with top-shelf quality. eBay features a super compact battery, high-capacity pods that are more than twice the capacity of Juul pods, and that feature ceramic coils so you won't ever get a burnt hit. I think I've had that once or twice.
Yeah.
I did not enjoy it.
I have a little touchscreen thing, and then it turns it up way too high, and all of a sudden I'm vaping at 220, and all of a sudden it tastes like shit.
Right,
Yeah.
and then I give myself nicotine poisoning, and it's all horrible. Yeah, it features a perfectly curated lineup of 5 delicious flavors, so you're sure to find one that's perfect for you. We have a wide variety and sample of them now to play
I'm
with.
so excited. The box arrived this week. I
Yeah.
can't wait to take him home and tear into him.
It's going to be a good thing. For a limited time, get a free eBay kit and $10 off each pack of pods on your first order when you sign up for monthly auto ship delivery with 3 or more packs of pods. Plus, all eBay auto ship orders get free shipping. Just use code IT in the D. It's all squinched together, IT in the D, at checkout when you visit abay.com. That's ABAY.com. Code IT in the D at checkout.
Dave, you may fire when ready.
Does it feel good to say that again, Bob?
Yes.
You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
Following program is intended for mature audiences.
I'm Wyatt, that's Gary, you're Bob, and you're Dave. This is the IT and the D Show.
This is Max Headroom, and what you're about to witness is one of the most sinister-sounding intros to a trailer to one of the greatest epics ever.
This is Billy D. Williams. Bob and Dave and I are enjoying a Colt 45 right now. And remember, IT in the D, it works every time.
Just where do you guys think you are? The Library of Congress? Detroit? Beyond the sun? Any of those right?
Take him to Detroit.
No! No, not Detroit! No! No, please! Anything but that! No!
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Then don't come! Shut up!
Hey, Dad, hello, this is Pinky, the genius, the real genius behind Pinky in the Brain. And when we take over the world, the only show that people will be able to listen to is IT in the D with Bob, Dave, and Yuri. No!
Hi, this is Christy Swanson, and you're listening to the IT in the D Show. And Bob and Dave touch my hoo-hoos.
What happens when you tap the angry beaver in the bunghole?
Exactly.
Come on, tries. What the hell with this? I'm calling a break. We'll come back to the TV show.
This is Guilfoyle from Silicon Valley, and the only 2 guys I hate more than Dinesh are Bob and Dave. Suck it, guys.
What's up, everybody? This is Billy Zapka. Sweep the leg. Listening to IT in the D Show. No mercy.
I may have to wipe the geek off.
Hi, this is Data K, the voice of Professor Xavier from X-Men Evolution. Storm! Come here, Storm. Sit on my lap, Storm. You're listening to IT in the D.
Are we at a break yet?
Hey everybody, this is Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. You're listening to IT in the D, and if you want to get your money's worth, stay right here. And remember, everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
Hi, I'm Ernie Hudson, and you're listening to IT in the D. All you nerds out there.
Nerds.
What's a nerd?
Hi, this is Ogre. You listen to a bunch of nerds on the IT and the D? Nerds.
I'm a nerd, and I'm pretty proud of it.
Hi, it's Julia Montgomery from Revenge of the Nerds. I listen to IT&D. And and I'm in love with a nerd. Mwah!
Hey, Detroit, this is Anthony Michael Hall. You're listening to my buddies Bob and Dave on IT in the D.
Hey, what up? This is Jay Muse, and you're listening to the IT and D Show. Snooch to the nooch. Listen, Muse, Snoogans.
This is Scott Steiner, Big Pump Pump. IT and the D Show is your hookup. Holler if you hear me.
I'm totally into Dave, but not so much Bob.
This is Robert Hayes, the tit striker to my mother. When I'm not hanging out at the Magumbo bar, I'm listening to the IT and the D Show. It's worse than Detroit.
Is there such thing as a meat hangover?
I love my Monday meat stick.
Hey, folks, this is WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and you're listening to the IT and the D Show. Tough guy. Ho!
Hello, smart people. Yakko Warner here, and the only show we listen to in the water tower is Bob, Dave, and Nuri at IT and the D. Good night, everybody!
Hi, this is Kelly LeBrock from Weird Science. So, Bob and Dave, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
The question isn't what are we going to do, the question is what aren't we going to do.
Ludicrous speed! Sir, had you better buckle up? Buckle this! Ludicrous speed! Go!
So I just flew back from Denver, and boy, are my arms tired. What is going on?
Get out.
I just did that on purpose. I knew it would make you angry. This is episode 265 of the one and only IT in the D Show, broadcasting live here in Studio One, Podcast Detroit in beautiful Royal Oak, Michigan. It's Bob the Sales Guy hanging out with Dave the Geek, Nuri the FNG, Randy, I do the Twitters Walker, is doing the Twitters.
Doing the Twitters.
Find us online, itinthed.com. And you know why? Because we are IT in the D and you.
You're still not.
You're
smart
so
little bastards.
sweet. Muy.
I love our
muy.
pre-show chats.
Forgot to do that last 2 weeks.
We totally did.
Yeah.
It's because
Bob wasn't here.
Bob's the instigator.
Yeah, do us a
He told
favor. Give us a like on the socials and subscribe to us everywhere fine podcasts are sold.
The single router Wi-Fi model just doesn't work for our increasingly high bandwidth world. What you need is a distributed system, Eero. Whatever your Wi-Fi needs, Eero has the power to seamlessly blanket your home in fast, reliable Wi-Fi via Ethernet, wireless, or any combination. Simply set it on a flat surface or plug it in with a power adapter for increased speed and range with powerful tri-band radios. With the addition of a third 5 gigahertz radio, the second generation Eero is now tri-band and twice as fast as its predecessor, which lets customers do more in every room of their home simultaneously. Meanwhile, Eero Beacon is half the size, but is even more powerful than the original Eero, whichever model you choose. With Eero's incredible customer support, you can call and get a hold of a Wi-Fi expert within 30 seconds. You know, I used to have what I thought was the best Wi-Fi router on the market.
We had this
X8.
conversation a bunch of times, yep.
And then
That looked like a Chevy V8 engine. What
Dude,
you
those
had.
things are nuts. They have like 4 little things in the back that light up and have color-changing LEDs
Yeah.
and leave me with dead spots all over my house.
Yep.
I put 3 of those Eeros in my 6,000 square foot house.
Ooh.
Right?
Ooh, slow clap.
That's a brag. Wow. But I have full Wi-Fi everywhere in my house, my basement, outside, in the garage, no matter where you're at, Wi-Fi works in my house, and it's because these Eeros are that awesome.
And I even get it out on the curb of your place.
Nice. You still have my Wi-Fi on my curb, Randy?
Well, while he's out there stalking you anyway, he might as well.
And I have 3 bratty kids on devices all day long.
Yep.
And not one of them whine, and it's a wonderful thing.
But you know, all 3 of us have Eeros, and we're all super happy with them. So
We are.
Get your own Eeros for free overnight shipping in the U.S. or Canada. Visit Eero.com, select overnight as the shipping option, then enter IT in the D at checkout. That's Eero.com, EERO.com. Offer code IT in the D at checkout.
Not only that, we forgot it's so easy even a Bob could do it. Because like literally I put those things in my house in 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah, the app goes on your phone. This is where
Yeah.
it's located. This is the one you go. This is how. Yep.
You need guest access. I send you a text with the password.
And it goes away.
Yeah.
It's so good. So what do we have coming up? We have this Thursday night, the 20th. We are going to have one of our casual networking socials over at Embrew. Love Embrew. The pinball games, the video games, and a little
The
networking that
delicious
happens.
pepperoni pizza?
Dude, the good ones with the cups and
Right.
the oil of
Oh,
happiness.
totally.
Those
So good.
yeah, it's the thing.
But it's the madness that started this whole mess. It's IT only. No insurance reps, no speakers,
no fruit basket salesmen,
no cover, no buttholes.
agenda.
Just IT folks having great old conversations.
Yeah, it's a good time always.
Yeah.
And then 9/29, we'll be down at it's a Saturday. We'll be down at the Oktober Fest down at Detroit Shipping Company, where we apparently as of tomorrow. So if you're listening to this live, it's tomorrow. If you're not, well, it's probably already happened. Opening up the brewery down there, and we're good to go.
And don't forget. I'm so scared. I'm so scared.
You have no idea. We've been trying to skate around this without you here.
I'm so scared.
But so the beer fest goes from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m.
Yeah.
There's karaoke.
Yeah.
On the outdoor stage between 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. And then at 8 p.m. all other entertainment ends. And I heard there's a really good reason why.
Dun dun dun.
You know,
because DJ Glockenspiel is taking over and turning Detroit Shipping Company into 80s Central.
I've heard so much about him. Who is this DJ Glockenspiel, and where can I find him?
The man of mystery.
It's Bob.
Thomas Dolby all night.
It's Bob
playing my PenguinCon 80s set.
Yep.
In public.
It should be interesting, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm looking. You also forget the bomb. What I'm scared about. I'm not scared about that. I've been spinning 80s my whole life.
Right.
We're speaking at TEDx, dude.
Oh, that's right. Shit, that's the 26th. So actually, so 3 days before.
Yeah.
We'll probably be on a bender the 27th and 28th, leading into the 29th. September 26th, we are speaking at TEDx Detroit. Assuming we actually get our presentation put together, which we're diligently working on. Charlie, anybody else from TEDx who's listening, swear to God, promise, we're almost done. We're speaking at TEDx Detroit. We are the only duo that they've ever had
in
speak.
10 years.
And they broke that rule for us.
And we were supposed to be in like the entrepreneurship. They're like, no, we put you guys in comedy, so make it funny. Like, crap, you can't make it funny. It either is or it isn't. You don't know how.
Do or do not. There's no try.
So
yeah, good times.
Yeah, so I spent the last 2 weeks in Denver. It's pretty eye-opening.
How high? So
oh my God. you would be driving in a convertible going 60 and you're like, Mary Jane? Like, the town it's nuts. Everyone's high. Everyone.
And basically every warehouse you see is growing pot. So it smells the entire city.
Yeah.
Down by the airport, anywhere you go, you just nice big whiff of plants. Oh, I get it.
We did a Jeep tour in Red Canyon State Park or something. We're an hour into this thing. We haven't seen people or a road in an hour. We're like, Mary Jane? like, how is it here right now? Like, it was like 16th Street. I get it. That's the Carla Street everybody walks. And it's all basically just like, everyone's high. Like everyone, everywhere. There's restaurants everywhere, I think, just to accommodate.
The munchies.
All I ate every day was like, and it's all udon bowls and poke bowls, and like that was everywhere. That's all you ate.
Remember, vote yes on marijuana legalization November 6th.
Right. But like literally, like there's a guy smoking a pipe. I go, and I walk with colleagues. I'm like, is this legal? And they go, yeah, no, but no one really enforces it.
Well, it's state legal. It's not federal legal.
No, but like they don't enforce it.
Public?
Yeah,
you can't.
That's what I asked. Can you smoke in the street? And they go,
gotcha.
It's not legal, but I go, they don't do a good job of enforcing it.
They just casually look the other way.
Right, like everywhere I went, it's crazy. Great town though.
Oh, Denver. Are you complaining?
No,
or are you trying to explain something to us?
I'm shocked. No, I'm just like it was like pretty eye opening that like nothing but bikes.
Actually, it's pretty eye-closing.
Bikes and birds. Everyone's zipping by on bicycles and birds and like smoking pot. It was like kind of glorious.
What they should have done, Bob, is they brought you all back from Denver and then drug tested all of you.
Yeah, they told us that they go, don't part. Yeah, because they drug test us. They drug test us. This is how stupid. I would start this new job. They drug test us before I get, for HR.
Right.
And I'm on payroll. Then they send me to Denver for training. And it's like, good. Yeah.
Welcome back from Denver. Here's a cup.
Good thing. Yeah, I know, right? Good thing I don't like it. I mean, I hate it. I mean, it's awful.
You need somebody to sell you some pee.
No.
It's not me.
Speaking of marijuana, Coca-Cola is apparently looking into making some cannabis drinks.
I'm sorry, who told you were allowed to do segues?
Randy can do segues.
For everyone at home, Randy's now pouting.
No, I did. I read that. That's actually I'm kind of curious to see where that goes.
So it's the non intoxicating ingredient, right? It's just the
CBD.
Yeah.
Right, but like it's been going on.
Let's be real. So we all know that Coca-Cola started with cocaine as one of its ingredients.
Right.
So this is the toned down version.
And now they're moving on to weed. That's amazing.
Well, it's been in the craft beer business now for what, 4 months, 3 months?
Yeah.
Out in California, is it Lagunitas
Yeah.
that makes a marijuana infused?
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's an awesome idea. I mean, CBD is an amazing product. It does not get you high.
Yeah, no, I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Everyone I know that has chronic pain loves it, takes it as supplements, sits in it for baths. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. And I'd totally drink a Coca-Cola full of CBD.
They're talking about the CBD market growing 10x over the next 2 years, like 2020.
Yeah,
wow,
$2.1 billion
from $200 million.
Was it Coke or Pepsi? I thought it was Pepsi.
Coke. It was Coke. Yeah. But speaking of like this is coming up quick, and I don't think anyone's ready for it. And we talked a little bit about it, but this whole 5G thing, I don't think we realize what's going to happen when this thing launches.
Well,
so here you have Verizon.
I was around when we went from 3G to 4G.
Yeah,
my phone had a 2G modem in it. That's right.
So I had a CDMA phone.
I had just G.
You were an original G, Dave.
That's right.
You were
an OG. I had an OG phone. Yeah,
You're so old. Your first phone number was 2. But the 5G's rolling out, and here's what Verizon's touting. And I don't know how much if it's going to get 300 meg to the house.
Yep.
And it bursts to a gig.
No data cap.
No data cap.
Skeptical Dave is skeptical.
No, actually, Verizon reclarified that. The spokesman said there would be no throttling at all on the service.
I don't believe that either.
For now.
Skeptical Dave is skeptical.
No throttling on day one.
Well, no. So here's what. Let me talk about this real quick. Here's what they got their. They've been spent as I spit everywhere. They're spending how much money doing fiber to the home over the past 8 years?
Right.
Has been a key initiative. Now, 5G's out. We don't need fiber anymore anywhere.
Well, then you don't need Comcast. You don't need AT&T.
It's over the air.
Wow, it's
right.
all, and you have a little modem in your house, or maybe an antenna outside, depending on how your house is built, and you get 300 megs.
Yeah.
With single millisecond latency times.
Yeah.
Is it single millisecond?
But throttling we talked about last week. I mean, we were talking about the carriers getting bagged for I forget what it was. Is it MeWe?
They're throttling for.
Well, they said they're not throttling their subscribers, but they're throttling the content coming from the websites to their subscribers.
So the answer is technically accurate.
So yes, their interpretation of the exact verbiage, because I ran Mihi. I think it was Mihi, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I ran it and found that they were just absolutely throttling Amazon on my phone.
Amazon, really?
Amazon Video.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're saying the whole thing was oh, we're going to do away with, that, but nobody's really going to do that. And I was running that. And of course, I'm starting to see it impacted dramatically. And of course they came out and said, yeah, we are doing it.
Yeah, we're doing that. You caught us. Our bad.
Well, so here's the thing. Everyone's on board. Everyone's like, yay, except for Comcast probably is
and Apple.
And then Apple's like, nah.
But did you see what that would cost you a month for a 300 meg connection in your house over 5G?
$70.
$70. Which is less than what I pay now for my gig connection to Comcast.
Right.
I would pay $70 to get rid of Comcast.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, that's the thing about Apple. I mean, I don't know why anybody's surprised. I mean, Apple's built an entire business model on taking 2 or 3 year old technology and putting a pretty bow on it and calling it new.
Right.
So the iPhone, I don't know, 13 will get 5G and then everybody will be fine.
I think market will push them faster than that. I'd say we'd probably see one by next year because Samsung's going to put one out in their phones. Mm-hmm. Apple will inevitably do so pretty quick after, I think. So I'd say probably next year, if I had to guess. No, you don't think so?
I kind of feel like they're maybe 2 or 3 years behind. I mean, they're just now getting the little stylus that my phone had 5 years ago.
Yep.
So,
well, and wireless charging and facial recognition and all that stuff. I mean, they're
an iPad, which makes it special.
But it's got an eye in front of it.
But it's going to be interesting to see. You talk about cutting the cord. Who's going to, and then how quick do those, because here's the thing, those antennas aren't infinite. So if you got a whole house, a whole neighborhood buying 3 gig. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's limitations to it.
They said they're going to have microcells. They'll set up cells in the neighborhood probably, so it'll be a lot closer than. I mean, right now you may be a mile and a half away from the nearest tower.
So that's going to replace their fiber to the curb initiatives that they
Probably.
In New York, they said the same thing, and then when it didn't work, they asked people just to buy the relayers or whatever, right?
Well, yeah,
repeaters or
right.
whatnot. Yeah.
But then on the topic of cell phones, Thursday should be interesting because for the first time ever, apparently we're going to be getting this has been a test of the emergency broadcast system message over your cell phones.
So make sure to leave your phone at home on Thursday.
Right, or in the car or whatever, at least until it's over. I don't know how I feel about this.
I don't feel good about it at all.
Like I get it. Like I know the Amber Alert things have done good,
Sure.
but if there's something happening on a national scale, I'm pretty sure my phone is not going to be the first place I hear about it.
Hold on a minute. I'm sorry. I love me some Amber Alerts because it helps. But God, do they scare the living shit out of me in the morning? I'm thinking like my dad's in the hospital. And, oh my God! And what's
But see, when I'm looking at this, did you guys see the episode of American Horror Story this week?
Missed it.
All right, so brand new season. It starts off with missiles being launched at all the major cities around the world, and everyone's getting these cell phone alerts. There was that thing in Hawaii last year. That was the
That's where I was going to go. Is how do you handle a bad alert that goes out? Are you then going to send out another alert to correct the alert?
Please unjump off the
right
you were
Psych.
minutes ago.
Yeah,
right.
I forgot about the Hawaii thing.
Yeah, no, that's what I wonder. When something that happens, I always wonder what. Like, I'm wired now. Okay, what's going to really happen?
Right.
Like, what's happening at that point?
Right.
And this is also something that Trump didn't put into place, but Obama put into place in 2016, and this, I guess, is the first nationwide test of it. So, I mean, we have the emergency system on Sirius Radio, we have it on TV, we have it on cable, we get those still.
Right,
so
but the difference is that he's more V for Vendetta type, where he's just like, oh, well, I feel like the Democrats are a threat, so
on election day.
Right, so I mean, Trump will use it to announce the purge.
Probably, right?
I mean, I get it. Nobody watches live TV anymore. Like, who watches live? Nobody.
Never.
Right. So if you got to do it.
Although apparently you were yesterday with the Lions disaster.
Whatever.
Facebook was trying to show me Amber Alerts for a while, but they were showing me like Oklahoma or something when they know damn well I'm in Michigan.
Speaking of cell phones, this next topic is on fire.
No.
How did nobody see this coming?
I was this close to buying one, Nuri.
Well, it's only one, and the Samsung.
I don't care. It's one too many.
They said they have all kinds of new processes. This will absolutely not catch fire. Battery safety check. The battery is safer than ever. Users do not have to worry about batteries anymore.
However,
some poor lady,
Galaxy Note 9 caught fire in a lady's purse
while she was in an elevator.
Oh my goodness.
She threw it in her purse and it started billowing black smoke. It was whistling. She kicked it. She got burned. It burned everything in her purse.
Well, she punctured it then. If it started whistling.
You have to tear off the calendar like it's been X number of days since the last explosion.
Galaxy explosion, right.
This is my third Note 5. The first two exploded. Like the first one just...
Why do you keep buying them?
Yeah, literally, you're on your third phone.
Because they keep giving them to me back for free. So,
hey, here's a hand grenade we forgot to pin. Oh, wait, no, here's another hand grenade we forgot to pin. Oh, wait, here's another.
Hey, this pizza gave me diarrhea. Here's a coupon for a free one. Sounds great.
Throw it in the blender. Got it. No, I'll do it.
You think the lady's going to win that lawsuit? Probably, if I had to guess.
But if he's right, though, he's got to puncture it to hear the whistle. Like, she might have, hit something with it. Like, there's user error. I mean, if it's only one and it's not, if it's 8, then I panic. If it's 1, then I think it's her fault.
And if it's 100, they ban them on all flights around the world.
If it's 6, they ban them on all flights.
I'm not going to lie. I'm digging the new Delta. They got the Europe TVs on all the screens. Like, they have the most. I watched Caddyshack on the plane. They have
what's a Europe TV?
All the back of the seats in front of you.
Oh yeah.
They never had it on domestic flights.
I was like
Europe TV.
Whatever. No, but you could they have live TV series but it's on domestic flights. They never had it on domestic flights.
Thanks for being awesome, Delta.
He said that, and all I could think of was the cheese thing from European
BBC.
Vacation.
Yeah,
like
there's
European vacation
there's
where they're
channel
watching
1,
the
channel
cheese.
2, and the cheese channel.
I always
That's what you have.
attributed
I'm
the
like,
TV
what?
on the back of the seat to Europe because that was the last time I flew to Germany.
See,
They had them.
Yeah, and I thought you were talking about like
Oh.
they were airing BBC and
Sorry.
yeah.
I go to the box office.
Maybe I'm the youngest one here, but I don't remember planes without TVs. I'm not
Oh,
sure
I
I've ever
hate
been
you
on one.
already.
And
Get out.
Let's get out.
Can we circle back to the cheese channel?
Yeah.
What is that?
What kind of?
So if you ever go to England, especially if you go to like a small town bed and breakfast kind of thing, like the local reception channels, you will have like BBC One, BBC Two, and the cheese channel. The cheese channel literally, and it's BBC Three, but like they literally show like people making cheese 24/7. Like that's a thing.
Brought to you by the old world.
Pretty much,
Watch
yeah.
as they separate the curds from whey.
So speaking of Denver, like the only time my phone rang was a 586-260 number.
Is that your NPA and XX combo? It is?
Yeah.
Oh.
So then I would say no, but like everyone knew I was here. Either they text me if they wanted to talk to me. Nobody called me because they knew I was in class. But apparently they predict that next year, half of all calls that are coming into your phone are going to be scams.
I think that's low.
I think that's low too.
Well, they say it's already 29.2% this year, which makes sense.
To my phone alone?
No, that's like aggregate
I get
across
at
the
least
United
10 calls a
States.
day, yes.
It's
Real
usually
people
like,
call you guys?
Not usually, unless it's work. Like that's about it.
I used to think it was funny to screw with them. Like, I'm calling from your computers department, and I'm like, ooh. Like, then I would sit and talk with them for 10 minutes, but now I'm like, I must be on every list.
I just don't have time
I have
anymore.
never received those before.
If I'm in the
I
car,
have.
all the time.
I just keep telling them I have an Apple, and they're saying they're from Microsoft typically. And then what I do is I boot up because I just have them available all
Right.
the damn time, a Linux VM, and I get them into that and just confuse the hell out of them and just sit there and just.
They don't say
control them.
Microsoft anymore because too many people were like,
Now it's your computers.
Now it's your computer's
Support
department.
yeah.
Which computer? No, that was the last one I did. I go, which computer? I go, huh? I go, I have 4. And then he reads off an IP address. I go, that's home on the router, you goofball.
Is
Like
it 127.0.0.1?
Yeah, totally
yeah.
did.
Oh my god!
It's 192.168.1.1. Yeah.
Right.
Speaking of terrible computer things, you see the guy in California who they're recommending 6 months in prison for uploading a copy of Deadpool to Facebook.
Which I'm honestly
I have no
surprised.
comment.
I'm surprised to see it lasted as long as it did. They said what, like 6.5 million views.
I think he did on Facebook Live or something, right?
Yeah. Which, well, I mean, they were. God, we talked about it at one point. Like, there's a Facebook page that does nothing but like old Tom and Jerry cartoons, and they stream them live. And like every now and then they get shut down. They fire up another page, and it's a thing.
6 months in prison though.
Hold on a minute.
Jail
Like,
or prison?
Why do you watch
Right. There's a difference.
Prison sentence.
Why would you watch
jail.
Deadpool on a shaky video on Facebook on your phone? That sounds ridiculous.
Well,
You know what it takes
dude, it's
to
not-
like watch Deadpool on a Facebook Live.
I know.
It'll
It's
only
not-
make you curious to go see
Right.
Deadpool. That was like marketing.
Free
Right.
outside
It's not
work.
necessarily
Like a
shaky.
teaser.
I mean, dude, keep in mind, like you can fire it up through your laptop and go live using any number of pieces of software to make it just like you're watching it on your screen.
They say
It's not like a cam thing. Like
Give me the
it's
$6. Go rent the damn movie.
right.
They say 6 months is required to send a strong message to Facebook users and the public to show that there are real consequences. You wouldn't download a car, would you?
I hated that.
I would
Well,
love to
First
download a
off,
car.
with 3D
Sure.
printers.
Okay,
being what
3D
they are,
printers,
I think I would probably
When you
a
download
car.
something,
Yeah.
it doesn't take it away from the original source.
We just had a great conversation about this the other day, where an individual was talking to me about, malicious things that you could do with a 3D printer. And I was like, the one thing that hasn't seemed to like taken on or, gone viral yet, 3D print license plates. Like it makes perfect sense.
You need the
Like-
sticker though.
You
3D print that too.
Yeah. Like you can use your other printer to print that.
That's
Like,
what I love. I
Way to give
saw.
everybody ideas.
I saw the 3D gun
I
argument.
am the idea guy.
So I go, so let me get this straight. You're going to buy a $3,000 printer to print a gun that'll fire once versus a $200 Glock off the street. Right.
But I'm going to print that gun like 200 times.
right.
I'm sorry, did you never see that? What the hell was that Clint Eastwood movie with John Malkovich?
Dirty Harry.
John Malkovich?
Secret Service, trying to kill the president. Stupid
yeah,
little
yeah,
wooden
yeah.
gun that he had. Never mind. Carry on.
Dirty Harry.
That was
I don't
actually a
know.
really good movie.
Yeah.
So speaking of
In
stupid,
the Line of Fire. Kiss my ass.
Awesome. It would have taken you an hour otherwise. Thank you. You're back. Speaking of stupid, like, what's your take on Amazon hiring Twitter ambassadors as a career? and they follow anyone that talks about Amazon in a poor light to say, no, we're great.
They actually give us
Love
bathroom
me.
breaks.
Well, that was the isn't it like it's?
I got to poo today.
It's like warehouse employees,
Yes.
that they're having do this. Like, so it's people they already have employed. They're
I
like,
thought they said there's 12 of them.
it's people they already have employed.
But they've made them Twitter ambassadors.
Yeah, well, they volunteered
Yeah.
for it. I don't know.
Did you see though?
Thanks, Jeff. I got to go Tukey today. Thanks, Jeff.
I think they need it though, because there was a guy just this week who was put in jail for 4 years in Britain for burning down an Amazon warehouse.
What?
This was an employee in.
I think you're right. I think
What does that have
Manchester.
to do with Twitter?
Well, they're talking about the conditions in warehouses, right? There's been a lot of negative press right now from politicians and the media about, staff falling asleep on their feet at work, ambulance being called to the site. There was a thing a couple years ago down south where it was so stiflingly hot that they had dozens of people pass out.
They had 400 ambulance calls at like one of the warehouses in the last year alone.
Yep.
Well, air conditioning costs money.
True. They have a perception problem. They do.
Yeah. So, but I mean, if I read Twitter and they go, no, it's great. Am I going to go, oh, it's great
Never
now?
mind. This one warehouse employee from
Yeah, I've
Arkansas?
never had my opinion changed by a bumper sticker, a Facebook post, or a tweet.
But apparently 6 people can tweet now. We've talked about this 100 times.
And that becomes
And
a
it
story.
becomes a news story, and everybody goes nuts.
I've never had my opinion changed by like a bumper sticker, but I've often thought to myself, that's fair.
Yeah.
That other news story about
Stare
Amazon.
at it for about 4 hours
Yeah.
in traffic.
That other Amazon
Especially in
story
Denver.
this
Yeah.
week that was about employees leaking confidential information for bribes, telling suppliers how they can
And deleting
better
bad
word things.
reviews.
Yeah, $300 will apparently get you a deleted review, and they
Yep.
want you to buy them in groups of 5.
Yeah. Well, and that's a thing, and competitive sales data and that kind of stuff. And there's been a lot of this stuff going on where, you've got essentially, and this happens, a couple of different places we've talked about on the show before, where a U.S. company will have stuff out there. Somebody from China will basically just duplicate it, knock it off, set up a page, and then unleash a social media storm of negative reviews and all that kind of stuff against the U.S. company so that their products pop up first. And dude, it's real. It's a thing. It's freaky.
You know what else is freaky? Fortnite. We always thought it was for kids.
Dude.
But Fortnite has shown up in 200 divorce proceedings as the cause of divorce.
Oh, I can see it.
I mean,
didn't World of Warcraft have that same attack?
Skeptical. I feel like if you're getting ready for a divorce, Fortnite might have been the last straw, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't the only issue.
The quote I saw says, "You walked in front of the screen, and a 10-year-old in Wyoming shot me dead. So now I'm taking the house."
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's like I said, that sounds like one of those stupid reasons just for the sake of being stupid. But yeah,
Well, that's what somebody would say if they didn't have their heart in the game. Because if you have your heart in the game, you know that you're going to be in that championship arena next year, making that $1 million playing.
Right. She ruins that.
Yeah,
I'm done.
I don't know.
Live your dreams, baby. Live your dreams.
Hey, speaking of living our dreams, we get to live ours when we get to interview Mike and Dan from DynaTrace talking about the DevOne conference. This is the IT and the D show.
And we'll be right back.
Is that like Tomorrowland?
IT in the D. Read, meet, listen. Networking Detroit, one beer at a time.
Hey, this is John Schneider from Nip Tuck Smallville, the haves and the have-nots. Oh, Dr. Quinn, Hot in Cleveland, Secret Life of the American Teenager, and just about everything you can possibly imagine. And oh yeah, the Dukes of Hazzard. You're listening to Bob and Dave. It's the IT in the D show.
ITinthed.com.
Welcome back to segment 2, episode 265 of the one and only IT in the D show, broadcasting live here in Studio One, Podcast Detroit, beautiful Royal Oak, Michigan. This is Bob the Sales Guy, back from the dead. Nuri, the F&G's in the house.
Back from the Denver. Right.
Dave, the geek, is mocking me for my poor choice of words. Randy, I do the Twitters Walker, is doing the Twitters. Find us online, ITinthed.com. Do us a favor. Give us a like on the socials and subscribe to us everywhere fine podcasts are sold. About 15 years ago or so, I came to the stunning realization that I was not only fat, drunk, and stupid. I was also going bald. Thanks to science, the fourth part of the quotient can be optional. Introducing
thanks to science, they can all be optional, but this will help you solve one.
the other ones I don't feel like doing. This one hurts. This one hurts. Introducing 4hims.com, a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare for men. Hims connects you with real doctors and medical grade solutions to treat hair loss. These are well-known generic equivalents to name brand prescriptions to help you keep your hair. No snake oil pills or gas station counter supplements. We never see those in Michigan.
No, ever.
Answer a few
Especially
questions.
not by a gubernatorial candidate.
No.
That
lost
Yeah,
bad.
that lost,
Thank
no.
you. Answer a few questions, doctor review, and prescribe you. Then the products are shipped directly to your door. Do us a favor. You get a free trial month for $5 while supplies last. I'm doing this. I'll report back.
Cool.
This is.
I was like, I'll even sign up for you. I will throw $5 at this for you.
This would honestly, this will cost you hundreds if you went to a doctor or pharmacy. And you know what? If you did that whole like AstroTurf replanting, that's like $8,000. Well, I don't know what else it's called. Do us a favor. Go to 4hims.com/IT in the D. That's FORHIMS.com/IT in the D. And hopefully I'll only be 3 of the 4 things next in a couple months. But hey, we are joined by our good friends that we just met today, Michael and Dan from DynaTrace. You guys are
so flattered.
You guys are talking about the DevOne concert coming to Ford Field. What is it? October 18th?
October 16th.
October 16th. Thank you. Appreciate it. So I guess what is DevOne and why are you guys taking up Ford Field? It sounds awesome and crazy and cool at the same time.
So it's not quite taking up Ford Field. It's just one of the rooms there.
It's false advertising.
You can.
They're going to be on the field.
Yeah,
doing a big event at Kobo, but it's in one of the little
at iconic Ford Field.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Show up and find out
you do get to
how much
see
of Ford Field we take up.
Yeah. So exactly, it's a surprise.
Could have sold it. Yeah, he sells it good. You not that much.
Right.
Just kidding.
It is a cool location. You will be able to see the field.
Cool
excuse
website
me.
is what it is.
That's
impressive.
Thank you. So it should be a lot of fun. We're theming it off of what they did in Austria. So our coworkers in Austria started the conference. This is their second year, and then we just kind of took the idea and theme, and then and brought it here to Detroit.
So what can we expect? I mean, obviously this is geared towards the dev community.
Yeah, dev and ops. So it's going to be a single track conference. It's a day. It's on a Tuesday.
Okay.
So we're going to start pretty early, go all day, and then there'll be a cocktail hour at the evening.
So interactive. I mean, is it speakers? What can you come to expect?
So it'll be speakers. We have
7 or 8 talks or something like that.
Yeah. So it's kind of subject to change at the moment. There's one more kind of pending, but other than that, we're locked in. We're ready to go.
Yeah, no, I mean, it seems pretty subtle. Like, you've got people talking about, cloud native applications. You've got, how to basically deal with old code. There's not a geek on this planet that will not say that inherited code is the worst code. And for the love of God, you should always document your code. Like, whoever is going to inherit your code is a psycho killer who knows where you live.
Especially my code, because I leave all kinds of dirty words in my code.
Yeah.
I name variables terrible things. Like, you never want to inherit my code.
No, it's, you've got accessibility. You've got kind of a good wide range, good wide variety of topics.
Yeah, and a lot of it's going to be kind of at a high level because of the single track. So we don't want to go too detailed on any one topic, but we hopefully, if it's something you're not comfortable with, it is something that you'll be able to at least go home and Google, the topics and the high level discussions that we talk about there.
And my favorite part is actually we have cultural parts of it more than the code, where we have how diversity will actually make a company more profitable as opposed to less, which is what a lot of people seem to assume. But turns out it can actually be a good thing.
Wait, there are people that assume diversity makes you less profitable?
There are people that assume that spending time and money on diversity is not worth it, which we are hoping to change.
Oof, yeah, change that.
Do they have whitehouse.gov email address?
D.Trump@me.
All I know is I want to know who did your branding, because I mean, literally, Everything looks awesome. It's like total.
And the website is sick, and it's the exact same type
Oh, no
of design.
kidding.
No, it's so
Oh,
good.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Don't tell Arno how to go
I don't
right.
know how you guys do
Yeah.
it. Like, as a professional hacker, I've seen a lot of code. I've stolen a lot of code, and legitimately, legally, right?
No, of course.
But every time I'm looking at
right.
somebody else's code, I just want to suck start a pistol. Like I can't do it. I can't do it.
So what made you guys get started in this? What was your idea behind throwing this conference?
So
Because cards on table, like we all the way back to like 2013, or actually back to 2011, we were debating doing a tech conference, and rapidly realized we don't wanna because it's a lot of work.
I'm not gonna lie, it is a lot of work.
Yeah, it's been a lot of work so far. Even just lining up the speakers, because we want to have quality speakers there. Getting the venue was tough. Thankfully, our company actually works out of Ford Field, so it was a little easier. We could just walk over, see the space, which is actually a beautiful space. So I'm really excited about it. But actually, kind of the origin of this is it started in Austria, where a lot of our R&D is. And the CTO came to Detroit and was like, we put on this really cool event. We think you guys should do it in Detroit as well. And then having it here in the States, I think will be pretty nice because we can pull in speakers from all around, the country and the world eventually. Right now, we're pulling some from Austria. And then from like Red Hat, we have some of our like DynaTrace partners are coming in to help us out. So I think it should be pretty nice. We'll have a good grouping of speakers.
Yeah, and it's nice. Like, I've been to a bunch of tech conferences, and a lot of them tend to be like very branded. They're like, "Oh, buy our product," but also these technology things. Where we're hoping it's more. Our company has been pretty generous in spending the money to just make it a tech conference, and we're trying not to sell stuff all
right.
there,
Yeah,
so.
we told our sales guys that they're not really invited. This is a tech conference. So
Good for you. As a sales guy here, good for you. No, they ruin events.
Yeah, we're not inviting the sales
Tell me
guys
about
or
it.
The, or the
No, hold on. The good ones don't ruin the events. The bad ones ruin the events.
True.
I think I really like the fact that you got some local names on here.
So that was the whole idea, is to make it as local as possible, but also big name companies, but with local offices in Detroit. So there's a lot of these companies that are national names, but they have local offices.
So, I mean, fill me in, because, I mean, you guys always talk about coding. What's next? Is there anything that's what's next, or is it still just, and when I say what's next, I mean, like, you guys, the whole, all I hear is Agile and DevOps. That's all I ever hear. I mean, is that still all it is?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, for the most part, yeah. I mean, the reality is, I mean, I got touched on the whole, the old inherited code thing. That's probably the next thing, is figuring out how to deal with all this legacy code that's out there. We've had this talk a million times.
Well, then compartmentalizing, I understand.
Big Iron's never going to go away.
Right.
So let's figure out how to make either interfaces to that better, or how to redo that in a different way.
The industry is maturing, and it's getting to the point where, like, for the first couple of decades, it was all about build it as fast as possible. And now you're getting to the point where, like, all this stuff was built as fast as possible, and it's sometimes not that great. And
right.
How do we make sure it continues to run for the next 10, 20, 30, 100 years?
Sorry, I'm not contributing more. I've been drinking every time Bob says DevOps.
I said it once.
How are you still upright?
I don't know.
No, so all right. So it's how do we get tickets? How do we find out more about it? What's the scoop?
Yeah, so you can go to devone.us. If you find the other site, it's the Austria site, so make sure it's the .us.
.at is wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And then we actually created a coupon code.
@. That's what we need.
There you go.
at.at.
AT's for Austria.
And then I know, but then Bob.
I always wanted
Dave at.
I always wanted.
Yeah, it's actually parked with just a page that says at.at. That's
I always wanted detro.it.
Right.
Like Italy. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, totally. Yeah. Sorry.
No worries.
And then it's sponsored by DynaTrace.
It's sponsored by DynaTrace, but it's not a DynaTrace conference.
Yeah, there won't be a lot of branding at the conference. It's DynaTrace is paying for it, but we're trying to keep branding to a minimum.
It's a pretty common name around my shop, but for those at home and who don't know, what does DynaTrace do?
So DynaTrace is an application performance monitoring tool, and if you're not familiar with that term, it's basically you basically install an agent on your servers, and you can trace requests through your system. So as certain requests goes through the different tiers, you'll be able to kind of pinpoint where performance bottlenecks are.
That's like automated multi-tier logging.
Yeah, and you don't have to change your code. That's kind of the beauty of the tool.
So this is how our resident entrepreneur over here determines if her websites are being, efficient, right?
Performing well, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Cool. All right. Anything we didn't hit on?
Yeah. So the one thing, we did create a coupon code for all the listeners here. So it's just IT and the D, no spaces. For
Perfect.
$5 off. So it's
yay.
So
yeah. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
I hope it's cool if we give your listeners a bunch of free stuff.
No, don't do that. They hate that. No, don't do that. Yeah.
We need koozies and
we don't need koozies.
Pens and koozies.
Well, there will
stress
be
balls.
beer.
Yeah, we'll have
there is beer.
There's we're making really cool T-shirts, kind of themed off of that. We have tons of stickers. I just put my personal AMX on $600 worth of stickers. So
that's
come on
probably worth
it. Yeah.
If you need a personally branded beer for the event, we might know some people. So
actually, so in Austria they made some awesome beers. They had HTM Ale.
And lager script.
What about a PH Porter?
So we should keep the tradition alive.
Yeah.
If you can make a beer in
we can.
1 month.
Yeah, done. Consider it done.
Give me a T-shirt. I'll invite all my nerdy girlfriends.
There you go.
Perfect.
We
can do that.
There'll be 5 girls there then.
I'm a nerdy girl. I'm a nerdy girl.
I'm just being funny. I know you
try
are.
to keep it as diverse as possible.
As it should be.
Right.
As it should be.
And damn it, we're doing beer.
Yeah.
All right. Challenge accepted.
Speaking of beer, we're going to talk to our resident drunk hacker in the house. Jason Brown's in the house. We're going to be talking properties of hacking and hacking. This is the IT and the D show.
And we'll be right back.
IT and the D. Read, meet, listen. Networking Detroit. One beer at a time.
Hi, I'm Brittany Daniel from The Game, and you're listening to IT and the D show.
itinthed.com.
Welcome back, segment 3, episode 265. This is the IT and the D show, broadcasting live here in Studio 1 in Podcast Detroit, beautiful Royal Oak, Michigan. Bob the Sales Guy, Dave the Geek, Mary the FNG, Randy, who do the Tutors Walker. Find us online, itinthed.com, and you know what to do.
WGU is an online university that's changing lives by changing higher education. Its innovative, competency-based learning model was designed specifically to fit in the lives of busy adults. WGU is nonprofit and surprisingly affordable, offering bachelor's and master's degrees in business, IT, and healthcare. WGU works with industry experts to make sure their degrees are current and relevant, so you'll get the skills and credentials that employers are seeking. Many industry certifications are included in their IT degree programs at no extra cost. And if you already have the certifications, they transfer so you can finish faster. Finishing faster means saving more and graduating with less student debt. It's also about half the cost of most other online universities. WG graduates work in positions of responsibility for leading companies like Microsoft and Apple and even the government. Get your $65 application fee waived at wgu.edu/itandthed. That's wgu.edu/itandthed to learn more and get your $65 application fee waived. wgu.edu/itandthed.
You're so good at this, Neri.
Yeah, I'm telling Erica and Elise that another woman in the studio threw you off more than they could.
I was going to tell the story. So we have 2 guests that always try to screw me up, and they'll sit there doing just absolutely crazy things, and I'm just like, nope, I can't look, but you're in my field of vision, so I can't help.
So
It's that voice, though.
Yeah, what would it cost to have you come talk me to sleep every night or something?
We can talk about it. I'm looking
you
for
read,
work.
some Potter to me at night. I would dig that.
That voice you hear is the one and only Jason Brown. He's in the house. He is I don't even know your job title. I don't care. You're a hacker. You break stuff.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's what you do.
No, I don't break stuff.
Well, you show people you can break things.
I can break into
I point out where things are broken.
Yes, fair.
There's a good.
But you've been you're former host of Security Jabber. Now you're downtown working for the pizza guys.
Yeah.
And how the heck are things going?
I'll tell you what, it's been a whirlwind couple of months, but my life has just exploded professionally and personally. I'm having a great time right now. If you would ask me 6 months ago, when the best time of my life was, it was in my 20s when I grew up and was living in East Lansing, and there was just a new round of co-eds coming in every 6 months. Now I'm having that kind of, spiritual experience again where the money's good, the life is good, everything is just good right now. Of course, I don't want to screw that up by saying it, but everything's good.
And you break my heart. You're talking about you're in the pizza business now, and you're on a diet losing weight. This is a bunch of garbage. You should be piling on the pizza. No,
I'm feeling good though, man. I'm down 18 pounds. Like,
good for
I'm
you.
Feeling good.
Good for you. So I mean, life is I don't want to call you a hacker, but life is find things. I mean, really, all you're doing like all day is just pointing out vulnerabilities. I mean, am I oversimplifying that? Or are you just trying to find out where other people are trying to do the same stuff you are?
So I think that's the best way to put it for sure. So like my employer pays me to break into all of the things and write up a thing and say how I did it so they can go back and resolve the issues. So it doesn't matter if it's a website or a locked door or you name it. I've got the luxury right now and the privilege of going through and hitting just about every kind of security related thing that you can think of.
You get to do FISEC too? Walk around the lockpick kit and just go crazy on doors?
I've unlocked a lot of doors in my lifetime. Yeah, I know guys who are much better at it than I am, but I do have my lockpicks on me pretty much all the time.
Now, in a corporate environment, is there anything like? I mean, you're probably going to laugh at me, but is there anything that can't be broken? I mean, we're talking from every layer of security that companies put forth. They're spending a ton of money. Is there anything that can't be broke?
I've been pretty privileged in my career that I've gotten to cherry pick a lot of my engagements, my jobs, where the company is either paid the company I'm working for, or the company that I was working for told me to do a thing for them. But I think maybe the greatest experience I've had was a Fortune 100 company, a big company worldwide.
Right.
And one of the coolest things I got, I was given 28 days to see how far into their network and how many things that I could do. I think it was within 12 days.
Did you even sleep?
No.
That sounded like fun.
No, I didn't sleep. I mean, 28 days for a company that's worldwide, multi-billion-dollar company is in the scope was gigantic. There was so much to do, but at one point I took over, think of like a GM manufacturing building or something like a Ford. It wasn't either of those. it was a large company, but it wasn't either of those.
Rhymes with? No, we won't play that game. We won't play that game.
You should be driving a...
No.
At any rate, at one point I had taken over this entire building, and I mean like literally everything. Like I've got a picture of the CEO using a copier that I took off their surveillance cameras while he was copying things. I was stealing them off the copier, and then when he was trying to leave the building, I kept screwing with the door locks to make sure that he couldn't get out. And then when he got out into the parking lot, I wouldn't let the gate go up. It would go up a little bit, and I would slam it back down so he couldn't get out with his very expensive car.
Oh my God.
Needless to say, this guy was not happy at all.
But how satisfying is that?
It really was. Like, this is the pinnacle of my career, right? Like, I had a lot of fun with this particular thing. Interestingly enough, though,
that you don't work there anymore. I'm shocked.
Interestingly enough, though, when I was doing the recon for this, I found that a couple of employees who worked there in one of their overseas entities, and I can talk about this because I'm not obviously declaring who these people were. Were Al Qaeda and what's the other one?
ISIS
sympathizers who were using their corporate email accounts to do recruitment.
Good God.
And when I was going through and I found this, that really became quite a big thing. And I don't believe in God or anything, but this is kind of God's work. I really feel like I'm making a difference doing what it is that I do. So I'm helping people understand that password 123 is not a good password. Welcome to my TED Talk.
Wait, really?
So being able
what
to
if I replace the A with an @ sign?
Ooh, yeah, that'll probably get by me. This is a religion to me. I have fun at work because I'm doing something that I absolutely love doing. I love poking holes in things. I love finding holes.
Had a bell.
No, but here's the thing: you have these companies like Veeam this week just got nailed with server vulnerabilities. Let loose 400 million email addresses of their
200
customers.
gigs of data.
Right,
Yeah.
just let loose, and they're the ones supposed to be protecting our crap.
Yeah,
so that's where I get on the vendor side. Not how easy it is to break these guys, but it seems like
but how
everyone
easy it is to
does.
break these guys.
Right.
So I've never been a fan of cloud providers. That historically, you can go back and look at any, like even my old podcasts. I don't agree with it at all. But here's
because again, there is no cloud. Yeah. It's just someone else's computer.
Exactly. And really, what you're paying for is to have those expertise, that they've hired. Doing the things that you need to have done. So somebody monitoring an infrastructure and handling all the infrastructure pieces. I really, honest to God, believe that, especially here in Michigan, that we have the talent that you can hire in-house to do those things. I don't think that we should be having conversations about cloud this, cloud that. I really think what we should be having is saying, okay, well, private cloud, whatever you want to call it, your infrastructure needs to be your own infrastructure, and you need to have the talent in-house paid to handle those particular things, and you need to monitor appropriately, and you need to spend appropriately. And every company that's ever done that, although I've been successful at every pen test I've ever done. A little knock on wood and bragging, I guess, a little bit. But again, I've gotten to cherry pick everything that I've done as well, which has been a huge benefit. But I think every company that's done what I just described has made it extraordinarily difficult for me. And I've struggled to get through, but I've eventually gotten through, and I think it's like a diamond. If you're given enough time and you apply enough pressure, you're eventually going to get in. But if you don't have a lot of time, you better apply a whole shit ton of pressure. And if you do, you're probably going to get caught, right? Because of the things I just outlined being in play are going to alert somebody. So again, God's work. I really love what I do. It's really quite fun.
Wait, so if we go back, how do you define a successful pen test? Is this successfully didn't get in because the company did a good job, or is it successfully owned everything that they've ever made?
So it's a great question. So every job I've ever done has had some sort of scope. So let's say I've worked for an entity and they've said, okay, this week's job is to break into this website. You're allowed to do this or this. You're not allowed to take it offline by DDoSing it or something, but you're allowed to maybe manipulate code or whatever, but you have to report back. And the reporting back piece is the most critical thing.
Oh, God, yeah.
One time I was on a pen test, for example, and we knew everything there was to know about this particular individual. We knew his password to his computer on the network. We were able to log in via VPN. He was the only one that had a particular login for this particular system that was the end goal. So the customer said, we need you to break into this. And we determined over time that the only person that had access was this one human. So we were outside of their building. This guy always had his window open. We were able to get into their wireless as well as VPN. We didn't want to trip anything on the VPN, so we just went through the wireless, and we knew which computer was his by name. So the only way that we could do this was to make sure that he was logged in, watching over his shoulder with the computer on. We're across the street with a telescope, believe it or not. What we did is we forged a phone number from another competitor company that we looked up. We called over there to his boss saying that we were looking for a reference for him and saying that, he's applied. And as soon as we hung up, he got a call and left his office in a hurry. So we were able then to jack into his computer remotely through RDP, use the machine that he was logged into. We had to call for that, though, to your point. We said, hey, we've got a theory that we might be able to do this, but we need permission. So we had to call and actually get permission because it wasn't a part of the original scope. So we were successful, right?
So the moral of the story is sit with your back to walls, not windows.
Oh, yeah.
What, have you never watched The Godfather? What's wrong with it?
I can go on all day with stories. We've done everything, but
do you have any tips for average developers on how
your average human that is not worried about sitting next to his window?
For developers though, specifically, I'm thinking
average humans aren't thinking about that. By the way, you guys are thinking,
right?
We're just
but we're building potentially the software that's vulnerable. So, what would you maybe recommend to make applications a little bit more secure?
If you could make every developer understand one thing, what would it be?
Ooh.
This one trick that hackers hate.
Number 8's a doozy.
I don't know. When you figure it out, please let me know, and I'll sell it, and we'll all make millions of dollars.
Right.
I literally just don't know. So what I would normally recommend to a company if you're talking about a web test or maybe some sort of application test is a WAF to protect against the things you didn't think of.
And for those at home, WAF, web application firewall?
Yeah, exactly. Also sometimes considered a reverse proxy. That is incredibly important. Having some sort of mechanism on your hosted server to determine if any of your static code has changed on the server. So if it ever changes, that it immediately kicks off an alert to you to say, hey, I'm no longer, what I was 5 minutes ago.
It's like LifeLock for code.
Exactly.
It really is.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Well, I've got it on all our stuff.
It's a PCI requirement too, right? In some environments to have that.
Especially this last year, I was working for a company that kind of kept me busy doing other things, but I haven't really kept up on PCI compliance. But it sounds accurate. I would say do it.
I would hope it is.
You'd be shocked at how many things you just think are common sense would make
that are not that.
They just don't.
It seems a little difficult in kind of a microservice architecture type world. Deploying all the time, and monitoring code changes and stuff is non-trivial at this point.
Yeah, I mean, static code analysis, if you've got some sort of thing that you can run your code through before you publish it, I don't know how you guys check in and check out code.
Or something like that.
Just something that's capable of looking at it and saying, okay, well, actually, you guys didn't close out this particular variable or field or whatever, if there's some way that you can do a thing. Last year,
you're talking about like static code, like vagrant static analysis.
Kind of, yeah, I guess, right? Yeah. Something that's capable of going through and just saying, like, you should add maybe something to strip off the white space on the end of this or something, anything that can give you some sort of insight. Because, when you're sitting in front of us, I only can imagine. I've written very limited code in my time because, like I said earlier, I would rather just start a pistol. The idea of doing code is for a very specific type of people. That is not me. At the end of the day, if you have something that can look at the code because you've been sitting there just plugging away at a screen all day and, maybe you've fallen asleep at the wheel, I don't know, and forgot to do something that would prevent me from maybe doing an SQL injection if you have that, or, tampering with a variable if you have that. There's so many different possibilities on my side, and I only have to be right once. You only have to be wrong once, for me to figure it out. That scenario I was talking about earlier with that giant worldwide company, we were able to get in there because we determined that the web server, the proprietary web server, which is like the server that only like billion-dollar companies buy, has
Alienware?
Apache struts.
Yeah. Been loving that one lately. It comes out of the manufacturer with 3 administrative user accounts. So one's admin, one's manager, and there was another one. And the people who deployed it only ever changed the password for admin.
3% of the listeners know what server you're talking about now.
Yeah. So with that, we determined that we could go in using one of those accounts that they never did anything with, have administrative rights to their worldwide organization, and we created a website that simply said, log in here with your domain creds, and we called it Demo Site. We went and stripped the internet using Google dorking, if you're familiar with that, which is just a means of searching Google for a specific thing and narrowing it down tremendously. We found over 800 email accounts belonging to this entity, and we sent everybody that was a Delta against their IT team in that 800 an email saying, hey, we've created a new worldwide global website and we want your input on it. Go log in to this URL, and it was a legitimate URL. It had their certificate. It had everything because it was on their server.
It's coming from inside the house. Delta.com, it's deltaflights.com.
And these people did it in huge numbers, but the only thing that happened when they logged in was it would say, because it was the only thing we provided, that the server's under too much load right now. Please, IT is aware of it.
Later.
Don't call us.
Don't bother telling. We know, yeah.
And we'll, check back later. And of course, we were just collecting username and password over, hand over fist, which got us into the VPN and which got us into everything else. So
it's a lot of social engineering.
It's a little of everything. It's literally a little of everything. So social engineering, understanding break fix, understanding, the low hanging fruits, understanding how people type passwords. You have no idea how many hours I've spent understanding how people type passwords on a keyboard. If anything, my superpower is really figuring out people's passwords. I'm really good at it, shockingly good at it. That's me, I guess, in a nutshell.
So what's your take on, what's your take? We just had a guy on a couple of weeks ago talking about how Zero Trust is going to change the game. What's your take on that?
Zero Trust is always going to change the game.
So it's never worked before.
Right, and so was Java. So was XML.
Well,
so was .NET.
Zero Trust is more of like an ephemeral concept.
No, I'm well aware. I'm just saying it's the latest technology that's going to be the silver bullet that's going to solve all the world's problems.
The latest technology we've been trying to do for 10 years.
Right.
Yeah. If you can achieve zero trust, true zero trust algorithms, like reliably, generally, sell it.
I don't think it's possible. The human is always going to be the weakest link, and that includes the people who are setting up the whole environment for Zero Trust or any product manager in general. Time and time again, I've always found that mechanics have the worst cars, right? So you always
plumber's house, leaky pipes.
Yeah, you always go after the IT guys who seem inept. Never go after the guys.
I was going to make a gynecologist joke, but I'll refrain.
But why?
You know what? I'm done. Let's hear this joke.
Actually didn't have one.
For those that don't know, do you have like a 2-sentence summary of what Zero Trust is?
Really, at the end of the day, you're just saying that we really don't trust anybody with anything, right? It's a matter of, nobody should have administrative rights. Nobody should have the ability to do anything on a particular network. So think of it as like,
neither the server nor the client have the password, but they can both verify that it's correct.
Yeah. It's one of those, it's literally it's your credentials don't even exist until you've credentialed to a middleman for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then of course it's who's Zero Trust that you're talking about, right? Yep. So, in what platform and what technology it is, there's a whole bunch of different moving parts here.
And then for the math geeks, you have zero knowledge proofs, which is the theoretical basis behind Zero Trust algorithms.
That's beyond my simpleton, thought processes. So, ultimately, again, it's all about just kind of removing the ability for people to screw stuff up. If I don't have the password, I can't screw things up.
If you don't have the password, you can't give it away to the guy that is looking with a telescope into your window.
Well, to be honest, he never gave us his password.
So I guess, so where do we find you? Like, how do people find, hey.
You don't.
Well, yeah. Well, other than here right now.
He's in Tampa
right
now.
Yeah. So, I really believe in the hacker culture. I believe in mentoring. I strongly believe in mentoring. I'm an individual that didn't go to college. Self-taught. I just get this stuff, So I'm always eager to tell other people what I know, show other people what I know. I'm getting old in the game. So there's a handful of people that I guess I mentor and say, hey, this is everything that I've learned. You're 20. If by the time that you're my age, you should be making twice the amount of money that I'm making.
Right.
I make a killing. I make great money.
Not to brag.
Yeah.
In my 6,000 square foot house with Eros.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's in Detroit.
It's true. It's true.
This is a good industry to be in. Security is a really good industry to be in. So to find me, you're going to go to the security convention. So I'll probably end up at your guys' security convention. I do a lot of CTFs, which are capture the flag. So at CTF at conventions, I will produce an event where you can come in as an individual and you can sit down at one of my computers and you can either learn and or play in the CTF, and you can break into things. So I've created everything in the different types of CTFs that I've designed for anybody from like the extremely entry level to the seasoned pro to actually break into something and have fun. So you'll find me at those places. You'll find me at 2 or 3, like MySec, here in mid-Michigan.
Yep.
I go to that quite, often, but I kind of skip around. I'll go hit like Lansing and all.
GurCon just happened a couple weeks ago.
I was at GurCon. Yep. So, hopefully, I was actually at GurCon for a very specific reason. It sounds like, I don't want to say for sure yet, but they said, they would like me, because I asked, to come in and do a large scale CTF there next year.
Oh, very cool.
It's widely different than what they have as a CTF. So they have a sit down. You can just pull up a seat and sit down CTF. Mine is radically different, and it's the get off the lawn scenario. If you guys have ever seen that one, where it is, I've got 2 teams of computers that I've set up. They're 2 independently identical networks, and then there's a third team of red teamers who have violated those networks. And I allow blue teamers to sit down and start kicking those red teamers off for a half hour of the 2 hours that they're allotted off of their network. And then at the half hour mark, the red teamers get to start destroying all their stuff that they didn't fix, which is a lot of fun. And then in the second round, it's all web apps. So they have 2 different identical groups of web servers and things of that nature that they now have to manage. So the first one's small network. Second one is kind of a hosting provider simulation. And then the third one's a full-blown enterprise network with domain controllers and enterprise firewalls and all this. I mean, switching that they have to figure out with VLANs and all of that. And again, these red teamers are just destroying everything, and they got to kick them out of that network. And
it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's way different. And I give away a lot of prizes. It's just, similar to what you were saying earlier about your Amex. It's all out of my pocket, so I just love doing this. So I don't mind paying for it.
Very cool.
Jay, appreciate the time hanging out with us.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome back anytime. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back with the most patient human being on the history of this planet, Heather Hermiz from One and Back. She's going to be talking about building stuff online and being a web superstar. This is the IT in the D show.
And we'll be right back.
IT in the D. Read, meet, listen. Networking Detroit. One beer at a time.
Hey guys, it's Time Hawk, Bruce Leroy from The Last Dragon. You're listening to the IT&D show.
ITinthed.com.
Welcome back, segment 4, episode 265, the IT and the D show, broadcasting live here in Studio One in Podcast Detroit in beautiful Royal Oak, Michigan.
I mean, unless you're listening later, then you don't care if we're live.
But we're recording live.
We're broadcasting live. You were actually, I wasn't correcting you.
Yeah.
I was not.
For once.
This
is Bob the Sales Guy. That's Dave the Geek. That's Nuri the FNG. Randy, I do the Twitters Walker, is eating Cheetos while he's doing Twitters. Find us online, itinthed.com, because we're IT.
And you're not yet. Some of our Twitters have an orange tint to them. That's why.
I don't think it works like that.
We'll work on that. All right, so let's dive in. We have the most patient human being on the planet who's dealt with
Seriously.
with all of our shenanigans, all of our nonsense, all of our chaos.
While she's been trying to kill a fruit fly in the studio.
The whole time.
The entire time.
We're calling PETA on her.
I have how many guys here?
Right.
7 guys, and not one killed that fruit fly.
To be fair, we're all trying to be really quiet around the microphones. We're not trying to just clap.
Right.
And bugs are icky.
And I'll
I don't want to touch it.
I'll conclude with I'm not much of a man.
Totally okay with that.
As he ties the back of his shirt and
All right, so Heather, let's dive in. So let's talk about your boutique, everything you have going on with the clothing line, and then the social media stuff you do. Where do you want to start?
Well, the boutique happened by accident. I mean,
as all good businesses do.
Right. I think every one of my businesses online happened by accident because I was just being social in social media. So everything I love, I was posting about. And then I discovered, hey, they like it and I should start a business. Because why would I send somebody somewhere else to buy clothes if I could send them to a website and sell them my own. So that's how it started.
So now, do you design everything? Do you how does that work?
Not yet. That's coming.
Okay.
Yes. I basically just purchase things as a wholesaler, and then I resell them to people. I pick out all the outfits and make sure that it's something that I love.
She's a curator.
Right.
I was
Right.
Like a museum curator.
Right.
It's like I buy them in bulk and pass the savings on to you.
Right.
Well, it takes a lot to pick out an outfit for somebody, and I know you guys are really
Not for
in tune
us.
to that,
No,
right?
yeah,
You
right.
can't tell.
You're also dapper. You're also dapper. The t-shirts and the
The-
cargo shorts are
Yeah.
really intense up in here.
These things have 6 pockets in them. Come on.
Levi's and trade show T-shirts is hard look
Right.
to pull off.
But I see some pattern going on over here.
I had to work. I had to work today.
We have one
It's
classy
very
guy
nice.
here.
Yeah.
What am I
Very
supposed to
nice.
carry my game?
It's the only pattern we got.
Yeah, I think girls and even guys have been following me for my fashion sense, and I noticed that, and I just saw an opportunity. So with anything, I started in makeup. I've been a makeup artist since I was 14. I had to get a work permit to work at Crowley's. Do you guys remember that?
Heck yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Macomb Mall?
Like Mr. Crowley?
No, it was actually Universal.
Oh, even better.
Yes, I am aging, definitely dating myself. But yeah, I saw an opportunity for makeup online, and this was before everybody was, squirting themselves with glittery substances and putting it on YouTube. And
So Tuesday for Randy.
yeah. Good God, I am the end of the night entertainment, aren't I? So yeah, I saw an opportunity for a blog and I started it. And then I wanted to stay home with my kids, so I started an online makeup business. That's where it started.
So then you've also got the whole organic, marketing and branding and that side of things. What's going on there?
Right. So I need to hire all of you after meeting all of you. I know now what I need. But yeah,
Not to do anything, just to sit around a table and stare at me. That's what you do.
no, you're already doing that.
Okay, we're doing that for free. That's
Right.
Doesn't need to hire us for that
Right,
yet.
exactly.
I have no previous experience, but I feel strongly that I would be a good CEO.
I feel like you might be overqualified.
So yeah, I just saw a lot more opportunity where other people have not. But then there's a lot of people now finding online that you can pretty much turn anything into a business. Anything. So when I found out I was good at social media and the organic reach, I started coaching other people on how to brand themselves individually, not as a company, and basically branding is just telling your story and picking a couple colors out and being consistent,
The influencer thing is a weird line for me. I always think it's weird. I just think you have accumulated a lot of followers. Is that,
Right.
but it, if you look at the science of it, it insanely works.
It does.
Explain it to me, because for the life of me, I don't get it.
Right. So I'm a little different because for me, it's not the number of followers, it's the number of loyal followers. So I have many followers, but mostly I have people who will not ever cross me, ever. They just love me and will follow me anywhere I go. So if I change from one to another, they're going to buy whatever I have because I've been very loyal to them and their message. So most of the time you get an influencer who's basically, it's about the number. It's about 150,000 followers on Instagram or whatever.
Good Lord.
Yeah. That's baseline though, honestly. And for me, I have maybe 4,000, but I do the amount of business that they do. So it's about loyalty. It's about
What do you have to do to get 150,000 Instagram followers?
Bots.
You don't want to know. 24/7.
Scantily clad
Yes.
pictures.
Live
That's how I have 100,000 followers.
That's how I did it.
You have to show your boobies.
Bots and boobies there.
yeah.
There you go.
No,
If anyone asks, I don't follow them.
There are a lot of influencers that do not do that. And, there's authors and artists and things like that don't do that kind of thing, that are influencers. But, to each his own. I think if you show your boobies, then there's a good market for that too. Whatever.
You're soaking in it.
I agree. I agree. We should legalize prostitution, like today.
What?
George Carlin.
That's where that was going, right?
George Carlin said,
Did I read that wrong? I apologize.
Are we at the bunny?
I'm so
Read the room,
sorry.
man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So how do you because
Back to center, y'all.
we suck at branding, we suck at marketing, we suck at everything social,
But not at social media. It's because we have Randy. I do the Walker's Twitter. Wow.
Well, so now he's like zombie porn.
What happens when I get on the mic? What happens to you guys? You turn to mush, all of you. What's happening?
No, so how do you take idiots like us and go, okay, look, this is how you're going to, like, do you walk in like, here's how you manage your social, here's what you need to be like, how does that even work?
I think it's about curating a story, and just being authentic. So where you guys are more tech and like, how does this work? And where do we put this in order for it to get out to the masses? I'm more like, who do I talk to in order to get more people to understand my message? And I think that's where you're talking about organic reach as opposed to, getting that tech side of it where it grows in a different way.
Well, we have the same. I mean, it's like networking, right? So we go to networking events. Like our entire show has been based on networking since its beginning, right? So I guess we do things in the same way, but we don't have 100,000 Instagram followers. And
nope.
No, but here's the thing. Like, what Dave was getting at is, we've tried so hard at getting Twitter and Facebook, and we'll put out something that's educational and valuable, and we'll get 2 hits.
Hey, here's free training to get you a job. Crickets.
We'll put out a stupid meme about stupid, and like 10,000 shares. And we're
it's like
what?
comedy, right? Like people want to forget about their lives. They don't want to, remember why they're.
So we figured out what works, and now we stop giving free stuff out and valuable
we
things.
Post stupid memes.
And we get yelled at. 1 out of every 10 we get yelled at, and then we're like, oh.
How many of those 10,000 people gave you money?
None.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the attraction. You attract them, and then you have something valuable to give them at the core.
Listen to our podcast. That's what's valuable.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've learned a lot tonight just sitting with you guys, and I know that I have to hire all of you after this is over, not just to look at me, but I think that there's value in everything you guys have to say. But I think there's a certain amount of, and I think this happened with my boutique. So I knew that everybody was starting an online boutique. But I also knew that all girls love all black clothes, right? And every time I posted a picture in an all black outfit, people were like, where'd you get that? But if I posted a picture in a red dress, they'd be like, I could never wear that. So,
oh my God, I went to Manjin Lao with this on Wednesday night.
Right.
It's crazy. See, she laughs because she knows it's true.
Oh my goodness. No. So I just knew that you have to be this much different. And I'm making the little squeezy thing with my fingers right
Perfect
now.
for folks back at home,
right?
Yeah. You have to be the tiniest amount of different in order to attract people. It doesn't, when you're way too different and crazy, then people are like, whoa, that's a train wreck, and I don't want to be a part of it.
I could never wear that.
Yeah, exactly. That's not relatable. But when you have just a tiny point of difference, then people then are attracted to you and want to be a part of it. So I knew that having an all black line instead of just a regular boutique would sell more and be more attractive to people.
You want to be set out from the group, but not like separate.
Right. You don't want to be. You don't want to look crazy.
Right.
Right.
So no, I see that working for you. Me in a black dress, on the other hand, I'm not probably going to get the same attention. Well, I'll probably get some
from a different crowd.
It depends on where you are. It's all situational. There's
probably still money in it.
It's all
I
situational.
think you should go
Here's
put a
the
black
cool
dress
thing.
on, and we'll all take pictures and send them to the listeners.
They're getting off
We'll see
track.
what
I
they
can't
think.
even handle these guys anymore. I've been patient, y'all. Let me talk now. Okay. So I think you guys will appreciate this. So I saw that I was good at this, and I started a social media coaching business. So I knew that, I was good at the makeup thing. I was good at the clothing, and I knew that I could brand myself and get customers and build successful businesses. But I also knew that a lot of people weren't going to be as good as me because they didn't notice the things that I did, or they weren't willing to put themselves out there enough. So I started a social media coaching business where I help people come into their own, kind of be authentic and learn the buttons to push. So I learned that I loved pushing the buttons a lot and figuring out like, oh, this button worked and that one didn't. And that's where you guys come in, right? And this is how I talk about it. You guys have all these codes and crazy,
right?
Whatever. And I just kind of see it as, well, if I time it right and it's at 3:00 on a Tuesday, these people are watching and, I can push this button and it'll work better than that button.
Is there a science to all that? Because we've read stuff for the last, 8 years, figuring out when to post, how often to post. So if we post over each other after 2 hours, we yell at each other, don't post over 2 hours. Don't post post at 5:00, not at 3:00. I mean, does it really matter?
Yes. It's an algorithm. Their Facebook.
I always thought if you can get like 10 people to like it really quick, then it'll be like awesome.
No, Facebook.
Sounds ridiculous,
especially
but it's true.
And my audience is more on Facebook because of my age. So, it's an algorithm. So if you are a mommy, I'm a mommy of 2 boys, and I know that when you drop the kids off at school, the first thing you do is open your Facebook and check out what everybody's doing. So I know I need to post right before they start checking their phones. So it's just a matter of when you're talking to your friends. You're talking to your friends. You're not really, it's not a tech kind of thing, but it becomes a tech thing because the algorithm reads it.
That's why we fail at it, Bob, because it's social and we don't do
It's
so.
whenever I post it whenever I find something funny. It has no timing is irrelevant. Right. 3 a.m. and I'm drunk and I go, oh my God, that's funny. I pull it out IT to D and nowhere.
Well, wait, so which one of you is the sales guy?
Right.
I'm the sales guy.
So that's when you save it. And then the next morning when the guys like you, whoever you want to attract are online, when are they online?
Yeah, but I think that our IT crowd, they're out. They're up all night. I don't.
So how much interaction do you get at 3 a.m. when you're drunk?
With who?
From the other people that are up at 3
online.
a.m.
No, depends on what kind of conversation we're having here. Right. But I'm talking about
online. None.
Real personal.
Yeah, no, I mean it's honestly like I've noticed our stuff tends to if it's like 8 a.m, which is usually, either before people are getting to work or right as they're getting to work and they're just checking their phones and screwing around,
right.
Around lunchtime,
3:00.
And then like right before, hey, let's get the hell out of here time.
Right.
Is usually when we get the most engagement.
So save all your stuff for then.
I know, but that requires thought.
Then you got to push scheduling and we just like hitting post.
You don't have to push. Just hire somebody to post. Say, hey, I really liked this at 3 a.m. when I was drunk. Can you post this tomorrow at noon? Thank you. Thank you, intern. And that's it.
Right.
Like, it's pretty easy.
We tried that. We just do it ourselves anyway.
Save a bunch.
Right.
Well,
Randy, you're going to start getting more emails from us.
I posted this at 11 and 1 a.m., but can you post it at noon?
It's still authentically you. It's just at a different time.
Trump posts at 3:00 all the time, and he's doing great.
A very special type of authentic.
Yeah, I mean, it's organic reach, but, there's a crowd at 3 a.m. when you're drunk. I mean, you might want to play that up and target some of those people if you're going to be posting at 3 a.m.
Seriously, you're 100% right. And I think everything that you're doing is spot on based on what you've said so far. Why? Well, Girls Gone Wild only did like their 3 a.m. thing, right? And that guy made gajillions of dollars, I think.
Oh, every infomercial on the planet targets drunk people at home with,
or elderly folks at home at 11 a.m. Here's your ad about this terrible disease or this new pill, right?
Right.
So,
right.
Here's the egg scoopy things that like, oh, you couldn't scoop eggs out of a pan before, but now with this little scoopy thing, you'll be amazing at scooping eggs. Like, I need to have that.
But we've been seeing the...
I love Kathy Mitchell.
I'm going to forget the name of those infomercials for like the rock CD or whatever back in the 80s. Like...
Oh no!
Now that's what I call
Freedom Rock, man.
Freedom Rock. Turn it up, dude.
So you just dated yourself.
Wow. I'm way younger
you have
than you
no
guys.
idea what we're talking about. But like,
hey man, is that Freedom Rock? Turn it up, man.
All the way back then,
who's the
that
next
industry
youngest
was able to
person?
monopolize on everything that she's talking about right now, and that hasn't stopped. So what you're delivering on is just smart, right?
Thank you.
So what you're saying is that you've recognized that there's this thing that is needed and you do it as well, if not better than everybody else. And you're delivering upon that simply because other people don't want to spend the time or the effort or have the know-how to do the things that you're discussing.
Right, and I don't want to get a real
There's
job.
no reason why you should monopolize upon
I don't want to
Like,
work a 9 to 5.
It's genius. How do I do it?
Yeah.
You know.
So where do we find the boutique? Where do we find your social media coaching?
So everything I do, you can go to heatherhermiz.com and sign up for emails and get a free download right away.
Hermiz.
Hermiz. I think you said Hurwitz earlier.
I said Hermiz.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you.
No, thank you.
No problem. So, yes, and you can get a free download right away on when to post. So you guys Yes. And then the boutique is all on Facebook. All you have to do is see something you like and comment sold, and it's yours. The invoice goes out right away, and I don't have to do a thing. You guys pay it, and it comes straight to you.
Does it fit?
You know what? It always fits.
Good point. Good point.
It always fits. So you can follow me on Facebook at Heather Hermiz, and then join the boutique at When in Black Online Boutique. And that's it.
Awesome.
The first thing I got when I Googled you was LinkedIn.
LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, my phone sucks.
And I don't want a job, and I got...
right.
I don't want a job.
Well, thanks for spending time with us. Appreciate being patient, and best of luck on your continued success.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
So, hey, this is going to end episode 265 here at the IT and the D Show. I'd like to thank Mike and Dan here from DynaTrace talking about the DevOne conference. I'd like to thank Jason Brown talking about hacking. Also, Heather Hermiz talking about When in Black. Also, I'd like to thank our sponsors, the Example Box, Eero, 4 Hymns, and WGU. Thank you for keeping the lights on. On behalf of Bob, Dave, Nuri, and Randy, do us all a favor. Drink up your drinks. Get your phone numbers. You don't got to go home. You just got to get the hell out of here. See you next week. Drive careful. Beat it.
You know, we tried to do that while you were gone.
Did you really?
And Nuri tried it once. I tried it. It just doesn't sound right. So that we're glad you're back.
I'm happy to be back too.
All right, see you guys.
The emergency destruct system is now activated.
Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
Long live Flash! You've saved your Earth. Have a nice day.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Nice shooting, son. What's your name? Murphy.
Make the run. The run.
Game over, man. It's game over.
It's over, Johnny. It's over.
Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.
I can't say no, and I don't really want to, so.
Well, especially with the back doors open.
Yo! Hold up! Time out! Time out! Y'all take a chill. You need to cool that shit out. And that's the double truth. Ruth.
Bob loves it in the can.
I hope this was as much fun for you as it was for me.
That's why I like it in the can.
Joe on the truth.
Bear me.
My job is to make sure this program is morally upright and cultural and wholesome.
Shut up, Mimsy! Shut up, Mimsy! Shut up, Mimsy!
Why would Buick put their cars next to the Bentleys? Why? That's not marketing.
The alphabet.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, I can't take that position.
That analogy sucks because it's right.
Because you're getting your 8-track tuned up.
Are we at a break yet? Yeah, so now I'm just doing stupid stuff to make me laugh.
Venture capital is not the end game.
When are we going to talk about me?
Jane, you ignorant slut.
It's my show. I can say what I want.
Yeah. Kiss my ass, go home, unplug, get off the goddamn internet. You are everything that is wrong with the internet right now.
You're so white right now.
I'm the whitest guy in the room. Just explain it to me.
I love this city.
I was banging on the wang.
Really? Should we talk about this? Tag team it. Should I keep going or should I stop?
Can I just say, it's been great being on a show that talks about Mickey Rooney dying for 20 seconds and then poop for 10 minutes.